Hey everyone, and welcome back to Edgier Than Thou. Today, as you can see from having seen the title and thumbnail of this video, we are going to be looking at the dynamic duo of dishonest apologists. So, I'm going to be probably mostly focusing on Ray Comfort because there's really not as much to say about Kirk Cameron, but I'm going to be going through some interviews with them, some debates with them, some talks from them, and just going to be breaking down, showing you places where either they're, one of them is either lying or missing the point, or, anything basically just to show you that these guys are not really trustworthy, trustworthy interlocutors. They're not very trustworthy spokesmen. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to jump right on into the video. So since we're not going to be getting as much of Kirk in this video, I figure we'll start off with a clip of him, and you're just going to see him basically spout off some information that's both troubling and completely untrue.
So do I support the idea of gay marriage? No, I don't.
Do you think homosexuality is a sin?
I think that it's unnatural. I think that it's detrimental and ultimately destructive to so many of the foundations of civilization.
So the first thing to notice here is the fact that he claims that homosexuality is, quote, unnatural. Now, that is categorically false. In fact, a particular example that I think illustrates this is this species of lizard I'm going to be putting up on screen here. You can see this is called the New Mexico whiptail, and it is an entirely homosexual species of lizard. I would 100% recommend looking it up. It's really interesting. They basically are they basically just clone themselves over and over again, and that's how their population reproduces, but they engage in I guess you could say, right, homosexual behaviors with one another, and this is a lizard. This isn't something that has the sapience of a human, so this is pretty much as natural as it gets. But we also have, we've also seen examples of homosexual behaviors in domesticated sheep is a really good one, because to the best of our knowledge, it appears as though they just mate for life that way. We've also seen examples of this in dolphins, I believe in bonobos, right? To varying degrees, but it's very important to point out that that claim that he's making is just completely inaccurate. Of course, we can't have a video about Ray Comfort without addressing the infamous banana routine that he does, which he claims is constantly taken out of context. So I'll show you what it looks like in context, and then you can realize that it just sucks. It's just really bad.
It's my theory of where the soda can may have come from. Billions of years ago, there was a big bang in space. Nobody knows what caused the big bang. It just happened. And from this bang issued this huge rock. On top of the rock was found a sweet, brown, bubbly substance. And over millions of years, aluminum crept up the side, formed itself in a can, then a lid, and then a tab. And then millions of years later, red paint, blue paint, white paint fell from the sky and formed itself into the words, 12 fluid ounces, do not litter. You're saying, what are you doing? You're insulting my intellect. And so I am. Because we know if the can is made, there must be a maker. If it's designed, there must be a designer. To believe the soda can happened by chance is to move into an intellectual free zone. It's to have an echo when you think. It's to have brain liposuction. Hold this, Kirk. Behold the atheist's nightmare. Now, if you study a well-made banana, you'll find on the far side there are 3 ridges. On the close side, 2 ridges. If you get your hand ready to grip a banana, you'll find on the far side there are 3 grooves, on the close side 2 grooves. The banana and the hand are perfectly made one for the other. You'll find the maker of the banana, Almighty God, has made it with a non-slip surface. It has outward indicators of inward contents: green, too early; yellow, just right; black, too late.
So as you can see, it clearly gives you a blatant misrepresentation of the entire concept of evolution. In fact, I don't even think that the banana part is the worst, because the banana part is kind of funny, if I'm being honest. But the part beforehand completely misrepresents evolution. No one thinks that a Coke can, spontaneously generated. I mean, that's pretty much like that law of biogenesis they like to cite so much, that people like, Kirk Cameron and Ray Comfort like to cite so much, is pretty much basically why that doesn't work. Of course, it's different. That's talking about biology, but still, the idea that something can just spontaneously generate like that is not included at all in the theory of evolution. So it's really, really dishonest of him to play it off that way.
I've never had any evolutionists explain to me why male and female are in everything but slugs
Actually,
and
you
worms.
have. I've got records
let me
of
finish.
where they explained it.
Let me finish. I haven't had evolutionists explain to me why we have in 1.4 million different kinds on this earth, except for slugs and worms, why there's male and female. We keep coming back to this population thing. I asked how come, were we all once fish? And evolutionists say, yeah, we were. And they explained to me that fish came up in groups to develop lungs or evolve lungs while on the land. They developed the lungs under the water. And I just can't believe that. I don't have that sort of faith.
So right here, we're kind of having a bit of a, if you're familiar with the term, a gish gallop. He's kind of thrown out a ton of information, and you'll notice that he's even being corrected on it in real time to a degree by Russell. That's the guy on the left. And he's just completely unwilling to listen, because he has been corrected on this information before. It's not like this is the first time and he needs to get his point out. Now, I am not, contrary to popular belief, an evolutionary biologist, so I'm not going to explain every little bit that he got wrong there or that he threw out. I can't. I would recommend looking it up if you want to look up evolution from water to land. You can find tons and tons of information about it. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the mud skipper isn't even a living example of a fish that's transferring from water to land, or potentially it will if selection pressures continue that way. I'm not entirely sure if that's the name of it, but yeah, take a look into it. It's really easy. This information is a Google search away. He's being intellectually dishonest by not taking the time to learn.
Science has never found a genuine transitional form that is one kind of animal crossing over into another kind, either living or in the fossil record. And there's supposed to be billions of them. Now, what I'm about to show you does not exist. These were actually created by our graphic artists, but I want you to keep your eye out for this, because this is what evolutionists have been searching for hundreds of years. All right? And if you find one of these, you could become rich and famous. So here's some transitional forms. This is called the crocodile. Can you see this?
God, I'm not.
Crocodile and a duck. All right, let's try another one. This is the bullfrog. Half bull, half frog. Or, of course, the sheepdog.
I don't suppose I have to explain everything that's wrong with this, again, infamous clip. But here, Kirk Cameron is, and I don't want to insult his intelligence, so I have to say probably deliberately misrepresenting the entire concept of evolution by claiming that evolution is searching for something such as the, quote, crocoduck. Now, first of all, transitional forms have been found all over the place. I just missed one of my favorite ones off the top of my head, but a good example is Archaeopteryx. We found transitional fossils. I don't want to get it wrong, so I'm just going to say we found transitional between apes and humans. I know humans are still apes, but still. We've also found Oh, geez. See, there's so much more than this that I'm like missing. But my point is, we have found transitional fossils, and they would never look like that, right? Those are two distinct organisms being cemented together. When in reality, evolution would expect to find creatures with similar characteristics, slowly developing those characteristics over time, sometimes developing new ones over successive generations. And so you would never expect to see two things kind of haphazardly, Frankenstein like sewn together like some sort of, like Kirk Cameron's garbage crocoduck example. And beyond that, it completely misses the fact that everything is a transitional form. Evolution doesn't search for, individual like clean columns to put different species in. It's constantly changing. So there's no, humans are a transitional form. Your dog is a transitional form. Everything is a transitional form. So yeah, this is pretty much the most garbage debate tactic or debate quote I've ever seen, which you can see when his opponents hear what he has to say.
Of true facts about the world.
Do you think the Book of Mormon is true? Is this just true
Oh,
as the Bible?
no.
Do you think the Bible is true?
Oh, yes. The Bible is excellent.
How do you tell the difference?
Well, let me share. Go be one at a time. This is the way I know the difference. And I know the Bible as the Word of God because it's filled with prophecies that are being fulfilled at every time. I was sharing in an earlier session. Let me just run through some of the prophecies. There's been an increase in sexuality, increase in vegetarianism, increase in earthquakes, increase in famines. Just let me run through a few of them.
Okay, I don't have time to get into every single piece of information here, and in terms of the actual things he's citing, a lot of them aren't technically incorrect, but I thought I would point out the fact that he claims here that earthquakes are increasing when in all reality they simply aren't. That's just not happening. In fact, you'll see on this graphic that there's a very, very slight increase if you look between 2000 and 2016, but if you look at the time that this debate or that this discussion was going on, there had been a very, very sharp decrease actually in earthquakes. So he's either completely behind on his data and is talking out of his ass, or he's just making this up and totally lying to people. And neither of those options are really acceptable. Sorry if you suddenly notice a drop in audio quality. With this, I think I'm probably going to close out this video for now. I will probably do a part 2 because I have not even begun to get into the depths of these two guys and the kind of crap that they push. So if you enjoy this, obviously I appreciate, the likes, the subscribes. I've gotten a lot of comments on my first Ken Hovind video and also a few on my second one. And I really appreciate that, and it's really cool to hear your thoughts and everything. But with that, I will see you in the next video of me talking.